Well, hello venters. Welcome to the channel where I walk with you every single day. Whether you're trying to lose weight or you just have some stressful stuff on your mind, taking a daily walk is one of the best investments you can make in yourself. And it's free. Imagine something that doesn't cost a thing, that might just add years to your life, and those years might be more healthy than ever. Join us and become a venter. Guys, today I was reading a little bit. I shouldn't say reading because I haven't read in a while. It was actually me watching some videos about the Baltimore Ravens place kicker, the guy that kicks field goals, if you will. His name is Justin Tucker, and some people say that he's probably one of the best field goal kickers of all time. Kicks long field goals like they're nothing. But one of the things that I noticed about Justin Tucker this year was that he missed a lot of field goals and extra point attempts that in years past he always made without any problems. One of the reasons that people speculate he had an off year is because he's been accused by not one, not two, but 16 massage therapists of inappropriate behavior. And I'll let you use your imagination when it comes to that inappropriate behavior. Now, the reason I find this story interesting is because Justin Tucker, while he is a really great kicker, he's probably not seen as valuable as a quarterback would be. So I want you to picture this scenario. Justin Tucker is a Caucasian field goal kicker, and there's another player, an African-American quarterback named Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson won a national championship in college at Clemson for Dabo Swinney. After winning a championship in college, he was drafted by the Houston Texans, where he looked like the next coming of Tom Brady. Really great, talented quarterback. And for some reason, Houston and him decided to part ways, and Cleveland decided to offer this young man the most lucrative NFL contract in NFL history, making him the richest quarterback and player the league had ever seen. Come to find out, there's a problem. Apparently, just like Justin Tucker, Deshaun Watson had a situation where about 30 to 40 massage therapists, there might have even been more, basically accused him of the same thing that they're accusing Justin Tucker of now, which is inappropriate behavior while they were giving these gentlemen a massage. I don't know if you've ever seen on the sidelines of a football game, sometimes they do these massage treatments to these players right there on the sideline, and it's really weird because they touch in places that are very close to intimate places, if you know what I mean. And I've seen them do it right there on the sideline. So imagine if that was happening behind closed doors, and maybe you're an attractive female masseuse, and all of a sudden these guys start putting your hands on them in certain areas, right? Asking you to do things that are basically wrong and illegal. And then imagine in some cases people feeling forced to do that stuff. Well, that's what we have with these two scenarios. In both scenarios, the football players deny it. And here's the thing that's so tough. If somebody wants to deny one person's allegation, it's you versus them. Where it gets really difficult to deny is when all of a sudden you have 30 of them saying that you're doing these sexually inappropriate things to them. So Deshaun Watson and Justin Tucker, between the two of them, they have like 50 people that have come out and said, hey, these guys are banned from our massage therapy place of business, and these people are just bad news. So the latest I heard, the NFL has decided to round up the 16 women that have accused Justin Tucker of inappropriateness, and apparently they're going to try to get down to the bottom of this. I always wondered this year when I was watching Justin Tucker kick, how the hell does he keep missing? Because this was a guy that basically never missed, or if he did miss, it was very rare. But this year he was missing all the time. But now that you think about it, he probably knew that a lot of these allegations were coming out against him. Now, the reason I bring these up is a video that I watched today was asking different people if they thought that what they did was the same. The answer came back, yes. What Justin Tucker did with 16 women and what Deshaun Watson did apparently with 30 plus women basically amounted to the same thing, but they weren't necessarily being treated the same. Now, some people said it was a race thing, that in America, we always see things through the lens of race. So naturally, because Deshaun Watson was a quarterback, he's going to get a lot more scrutiny than a place kicker. But there's a couple asterisks in this equation. Number one, while Deshaun Watson once upon a time was very highly thought of, and he had the potential to go down as one of the best quarterbacks ever, in Justin Tucker's scenario or case, he actually is potentially the best field goal kicker of all time. So some people were saying, well, wait a minute, field goal kickers aren't even really football players. Now, I disagree. I think field goal kickers are an important part of the team, but at the same time, I think we can all agree they're not quite the quarterback. So some people were saying, hey, throw race out of there. This has nothing to do with Deshaun Watson being black and Justin Tucker being white. The reason everybody and their brother was talking about Deshaun Watson and they're not talking about Justin Tucker is simply because Deshaun is a quarterback. So here's my first question to you. Do you think Deshaun Watson got more pub about this because he was black? Or do you think it was because he was getting paid so much more money as the quarterback, and deep down people don't really think of kickers as that big of a deal? So while it's totally unfair and they should both be treated exactly the same, and in a court of law they probably would be treated exactly the same, I think Deshaun Watson got a little bit more coverage, probably more because he was a quarterback than the color of his skin. But here's the thing, I could be wrong, and I'd like to know what your thoughts are. And if you've never heard of this, well, here's something for you to ponder. Are there certain positions that we have in this country that are seen as more important than others? Do you care more about what the manager of a restaurant does than maybe a simple employee? Does one deserve to get into more trouble based on how important their job is? If somebody's getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars and the other person is only getting paid tens of millions of dollars, does that make you feel more one way or another about it? Somebody left me a message and they were like, you know, my college professor would always say that nervous energy is one of those energies that just kind of ruin a performance. And she was saying that about me. Apparently she watched one of my videos and she said, you're just a ball of nervous energy. And she's probably got a good point there. I probably do come across as a ball of nervous energy. I think it's because one of the things that I never accounted for in my YouTube channel was the idea of practice. You know, when we see somebody's 10-minute video, golly, they might have tried recording that 15 or 20 times. And then instead of doing a 10-minute video, for all I know, they could have done a half-hour video and just kept chopping it down until they had the perfect 10 minutes. In my case, a lot of times, because I, just like you, am trying to juggle 1,000,001 different things, it kind of takes away from my effectiveness. Would I have been a better YouTube creator if I redid things 10, 15 times? If I only had a show once a week? I don't know, probably. I think it was just the idea that I wanted to get everybody outside to walk. And in trying to attract everybody, a lot of times I find out that my show doesn't really attract anybody. I think that happens with us a lot. What we do in life is we try to please everybody, right? And what happens when you try to please everybody? You end up making yourself miserable and you end up making everybody unhappy, if anything. And that's kind of the bummer thing about my channel. The other day, I reached out to my friend Jack. He has his own YouTube channel. What's really interesting about his YouTube channel is he's got 25,000 subscribers. And when he very first started his channel, he asked me for as much help as he could. Like, hey, can you watch my videos? Can you thumbs up it? Can you share it on Facebook? And I did for a while, but after a while, I got kind of tired of it, you know? So why do I bring that up? Well, the reason I bring that up is because when I was speaking to him recently, although he has 25 going on 26,000 subscribers, he's lucky if he gets 100 views per video. And he's gotten to the point where instead of 4, 5, or 6 videos a week, a lot of times Jack is only putting up 1 video. So I have a feeling Jack is probably burnt out on YouTube because it seems like no matter what he does, he just can't really get any traction. So that's where I find myself today. I absolutely love walking and talking with you guys, but every time I look at my videos, it seems like I don't get any comments and I don't get anybody that does a thumbs up. So one of the things that we're coming upon is the 1-year anniversary of the show, and I'm just wondering if maybe I should just stop doing what I'm doing and try to reinvent myself. Now, would I recommend other people stop their career and just reinvent themselves? No, I would never recommend that. But if a person was starting a business and all they did was lose money, at some point you would have to go up to them and say, hey, as your friend, you should probably stop what you're doing. So in Jack, I have somebody that could very well be me in 5 or 6 years. I could see myself slowly but surely amassing thousands of subscribers. But the weird thing about YouTube subscribers, gang, is they don't necessarily watch your videos. They subscribe and then you never hear from them again. And I just don't know if I want to be that guy that some way, somehow hits tens of thousands of subscribers, but still only has 30 or 40 views. Now, with that being said, I don't want to quit. I want to do something. But I just want to give everybody a fair warning that there's a piece of me that never says die, never says quit, but he does like to say, let's go back to the lab again. And I feel like there's billions of people on YouTube just waiting to find their next favorite content creator. But I just don't think they want it to be me, at least not walking. And I don't think they necessarily want it to be me doing reaction videos either. So that's where I just have to go back to the lab again and try to figure something out. Because the truth is, you're my buddy, and I'm your buddy. And nobody should ever want their buddy to wallow in, God, it's not even mediocrity. It's like on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like wallowing in the 2.5 to 3 range. That's what I'm pretty much doing on YouTube every day. And I fear that now I'm giving you guys a product that many of you guys can't even stomach anymore. So I just want to let you guys know that I apologize for never quite getting my channel up to where I wanted it to be. And I wish I could tell you, hey, I'm quitting my job so I can focus on my channel to make it the best I can. But like a lot of people out there, I can't really afford to do that. So instead, I'm going to probably just go back to the lab again and try to reinvent myself. It's the only thing I can think of. Let's go over some of these comments. And these are people that are commenting on, are we viewing the Justin Tucker, the white kicker, the same way that we are the black quarterback? When Deshaun Watson plays and he struggles, it's like he can't get past that stigma of what he did to those masseuses. In the same sentence, Justin Tucker, like a lot of people are like, all he needs to do is retire and just walk away from the game. He'll be fine. And there's a lot of truth to that. Now, where this is actually going to hurt Justin Tucker more is I don't think Deshaun Watson is on pace to be a Hall of Famer anymore, Whereas I think Justin was actually on pace to be a Hall of Famer. I don't think the NFL would want him to be in the Hall of Fame if all this is true. He does maintain his innocence, and you know we're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But do you guys agree with me, if you have 16 people that are accusing you of basically the same crime, there's probably a good chance that you probably are guilty? I mean, that's just the truth. Just, my goodness, you get 30 people against you or 20 people against you. It's really hard to argue with that math. With that being said, sometimes I feel like famous people are attacked by mobs of people, and then you come to find out that those people weren't so honest. So even though it sounds crazy, and I think they're probably both guilty, you know, in theory, they could both be innocent. But we both know they're not. They're guilty as sin. I know what you guys are thinking. Jesse, if you're a famous person, why don't you just pay somebody that kind of is okay with doing those things to you, rather than going to a massage parlor with perfect strangers and hoping nobody tells on you? And you'd be right. That is the craziest thing ever. These famous people could probably marry darn near anyone they want. But instead of being like a normal person, they go and they act like freaks in these massage parlors. And then for some reason they act so bizarre, the masseuses end up going to law enforcement. We did videos where we would look at Kara and different creators, right? And many of them had videos that we reviewed where they literally had like 0 views, right? And I would always look at those videos and think, golly, YouTube couldn't give them any love. And then all of a sudden, YouTube stopped giving me love. And it just makes you wonder, is it because I was hanging around with unlucky YouTube creators? Is that what happens? Or could it be the person that commented? Is there something about me that just throws off, you know, unconfident vibes? Do I seem irritated and agitated and overexcited and, you know, too intense to have a nice, fun talk with you guys? God, I would have never thought that that would be me, but apparently I have become that guy that's just not very fun to walk with. So here's my prayer for all my venters. I hope in the future that none of you guys ever get to experience that feeling, because my God, that is the most awful feeling. It really is. It's kind of like when you're at the playground with all your friends and you're picking teams for football and you're literally the last person picked. And you never get picked when you're the last person. They just say, all right, you're on that team over there, right? That's kind of what YouTube feels like to me. And now that I see my buddy 5 or 6 years later, and he's getting literally the same number of views I get, you know, 30 views on one video, and maybe he lucks out and gets 100 on the next. My God, if that's happening to me 5 years from now, God, I'm going to end up thinking the worst things about YouTube ever. So nobody thinks race has anything to do with it. This is America. Race definitely has something to do with it, says Ollie Z. Ollie Z, you're probably right. There's a lot of things that I try to look at and I try to give the benefit of the doubt. But I'm telling you guys, when it was the black quarterback, we heard about this every single day for weeks on end. And now that it's been the white kicker, I very rarely hear anything about it. As a matter of fact, I'd be willing to bet, because a lot of you venters probably aren't even into sports, I'd be willing to bet that this is probably the first you heard about this. I'd also be willing to bet, because my channel's not the most exciting, and because you're not the most into football, I'd be willing to bet this is one of those videos that's only going to get 20 or 30 viewers. That's what seems so unfair about YouTube. You watch some other videos, and I'm telling you, some of the creators are really dry and extremely boring. And a lot of times they talk about stuff that's not even very fun, and they still manage to get 10,000 or more views. So you can't help but feel Like some people are just destined to be good at YouTube while others aren't. But see, I hate to look at it like that. I really do. I don't like the woe is me type mentality. But my goodness, YouTube has a way of just really messing with your confidence. There's literally no thumbnail I can create that's going to get people to click on it. And there's no reaction I can do that's going to make people hit a thumbs up button and share the video. I've tried everything. I think there comes a point where you have to say, it's just not meant to be. Liberty Outdoor Adventures said, one is a kicker. The other is a high-profile quarterback with the highest guaranteed contract in the NFL history. They aren't the same. I think what people are forgetting is that if you had a serial attacker, right? You know what I mean by a serial Jack the Ripper type. It doesn't matter what color he or she would be, you would hear about it on the news. This is not about a quarterback and a place kicker. This is about two rich athletes that went behind doors with masseuses and did inappropriate things multiple times to the point where they were serial about it. And that's the thing that's a shame. Why do we hear so little about one of them and so much about the other? I think there is a good chance it is because of the position and pay they make. But again, we shouldn't be looking at it as in it's a quarterback and a place kicker. We should be looking at it and say, here's two NFL employees that are both going behind closed doors of businesses and doing inappropriate behavior. What would a good problem solver do on this? I think what the NFL should do is I think they should have certain people in every major city where there's NFL teams, and they should say, these are the approved massage therapists you can see. And these massage therapists are employees of the NFL. So when you go there, you're expected to treat them with respect, and they're expected to give a report afterwards that you were either respectful or non-respectful. Maybe that's what they need to do. TD Saf says the obvious question is being avoided. Does he, meaning Justin Tucker, the white kicker, not get into the Hall of Fame because of this shit? I would think that the answer to that is yes. I don't think you can let somebody into the Hall of Fame for this. Are there other people in the Hall of Fame that probably did equally, if not worse, things? You know, I'd be willing to bet that's a true statement. But we're not going to do a audit of everybody in the NFL Hall of Fame to see what bad they did. With these two players, we already know what they did. I think that would have to make them ineligible. Here's the crazy thing. If they do end up making it in the Hall of Fame, they're not going to put an asterisk next to their name. I don't think anybody has an asterisk next to their name that says, hey, this person's a linebacker in the NFL Hall of Fame, but he also did these horrible crimes. I don't think that's going to happen. And since they're not going to do that, I think the only answer would be not to let him in the Hall of Fame. Jesse, yes, Bob? They're never going to let you in the YouTube Hall of Fame. I know, Bob. I know. They don't appreciate that I walk with them every day. But you know why you guys don't appreciate why I walk with you? Because maybe I'm just not good enough. That's the difference between me and other people out there. Other people want to say, yes, YouTube's unfair. That's the reason. But that would be disingenuous. I think YouTube is unfair to a certain extent. But every time my video gets in front of people, it's not like they, knock down the door to get to the next video. Other than maybe Mala. Mala, you're my biggest fan and I appreciate you. And if everybody saw my show the way Mala did, I would already have 30 billion subscribers. And there's not even 30 billion subscribers on the planet. But for whatever reason, maybe I'm just not talented enough for this shit. But that doesn't mean I want to give up. I'm trying to think about something that's going to make my channel be the most spectacular channel in the world. I can do this, you can do this, we can do this. Let's do this. We're gonna go back to the lab again. We're gonna figure something out. But one thing we don't need to figure out, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your wellness, You need to remember TWMGO. The walk must go on. Keep walking, keep losing weight, stay positive. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.